So once you've ironed and pleated the pallu, start your drape and let's get to the hip pleat. For this first method, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the pallu over your shoulder like you normally do. So you're gonna bring the part of the sari that's closest to you, your chest, and bring it around your body and bring it over your left hip. And then you're going to pin this with the first layer of the sari as well as your underskirt or Saree Silhouette, and you're gonna put a pin there. And I just like to lift it up so that I don't poke myself with the pin. This next step really depends on how wide your hips are. So it's gonna differ for you, but for me, it's about, I wanna say like 4 to 5 inches from that pin. I'm gonna grab the sari there. And so it might be more for you if you have wider hips, and it might be less distance for you if your hips are narrower. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab that, kind of like pinch it between my fingers and bring it up to my, so again, that was too short. So what I'm gonna do is like go out a little bit and just pinch and bring it up. Okay, I feel like that's too much. So I'm gonna start from like kind of like in the middle, Goldilocks middle, and bring it up like that. And as you do that, you'll see that you've created a few pleats here. And once you're done pleating the rest of your pleats, you're going to fan these out so they look good. So for now, what you're gonna do is take this little piece of fabric here, and you can tuck it in, and what I like to do is I just like to add another safety pin there, so it's nice and secure. And then you're going to pleat as normal. And you can definitely fan out these pleats at this point, create these pleats on your hip. Okay, and then once you're happy with the hip pleats, you can stagger your middle pleats. And that's pretty much it. And that's method 1. So again, you just pin and then pull and pin again, and you define your hip pleats. Now let's go on to method number 2. Method number 2 involves creating the pleats right here and pinning all the pleats together. So what you're gonna do is kind of create these pleats and then you wanna gather all of that with the first layer of the sari and your underskirt or Saree Silhouette and pin it all together. I find that method 2 works especially well for your starchy cottons or those materials that are super stiff and won't stay in place. Pinning it all in place to your right thigh, just make sure that the material stays in that spot. For method number 3, you want to pleat your front pleats first. Once you're done pleating, you want to stagger your pleats and then pin them together before you even start your hip pleats. So for this method, you want to make sure that the last pleat is at a point where if you were to fully extend your arms and hold the border like this, you have enough fabric to do that. Like if your arm is here, that's like not enough fabric to do what you want to do. And if it's more than that, it's just going to look really clumsy. So I find the length of your arm like fully extended and then the border doing this, like that's kind of approximately how much sari or fabric you need here to do the third method properly. So once you have that, what you're going to do is kind of hold this part down. You don't want to tuck this part in. So you're going to hold this in and then bring the pleats up and then tuck the pleats into the front. So what you're gonna do is reach your hands into this little opening here where you haven't tucked in the sari, and then reach underneath all of these pleats and this part of the border part of the fabric, if you have it, or the edge of the sari, and kind of just pull that to your right hip. So you're gonna pull this border or the edge of the sari and pull it towards your right hip, and you should get a little bit of sari here. And what that does is it tightens this entire section of your sari, and you can guide the pleats to however you'd like them to look. This is the easiest way to do this hip pleats and achieve these hip pleats, but you really need a sari that's gonna like listen to you. So I don't think this works well with satin saris. It can't be too soft and it can't be too hard. Like, it needs to be with the perfect sari. But this method is the easiest, and it's probably the method that most of our moms and grandmas used. Okay, and that's pretty much it. I highly encourage you to learn and practice all three methods, and then when you go to drape your sari, practice all three of them and see which ones you're more comfortable with. Also, depending on the sari you're draping, you might find that one method works better than the other. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave any questions in the comment box below. I absolutely love reading your comments. Subscribe, and I will see you in a future video.